Hi, YouTube friends. I've changed my channel's name to Beyond Knowledge because I thought that would be more apt for my channel, because most of the things what we discuss here is beyond human knowledge, things that were received by ancient sages, people who lived in the past through psychic powers, their knowledge about the universe, how did creation happen, why are we living in this world, and why is everybody different from the other person. So I've changed my channel's name to Beyond Knowledge, which is, I think, more apt with what we are discussing here. In today's video, I would like to discuss about astrology. Why do people believe in astrology? Is it necessary for people to believe in astrology? Astrology has long been used by people around the world, even during the ancient times, to find out their fortunes, misfortunes, what will happen to them, their children, their parents, how long they will live, will they get married or not, will they have children, will they live long, what are the blessings that they have received from God in this birth, what are the curses that they have received, and what are the remedies for it. Whether we should believe in astrology is something that is left to personal choice, but astrology has been used by ancient humans. We had Greek astrology, we had Chinese astrology, we have the Indian Vedic astrology, we have palmistry, we have something called Nadi, that's based on finding the destiny of the person based on his fingerprint. So there are several ways to find out the destiny of human beings. You can't find the exact destiny. Well, you can, but astrology is just a signpost for you to find out where you are in life, what you will be doing. Now it sounds absurd, isn't it? There are maybe millions of people living in each state, and how is it possible to have everybody's destiny? The popular Western concept is that destiny is created by us. Yes and no. To an extent, yes, we control our lives. We get done what we like. But there are uncontrollable events as well. And sometimes the uncontrollable events are more in life and the controllable events are less. That the uncontrollable events lay the foundation for our life, and that's what we call as karma. So if you look at the Indian Vedic astrology, whenever a child is born, we create something called a birth chart. So the birth chart shows the alignment of planets in various houses from the time he was born, from the time he or she was born, and what was the position of each and every planet when that person was born, and how is his life going to be in this world. How long is he going to live? What is he going to do? What are his innate interests and capabilities? What he can accomplish? What he cannot accomplish? Now, before throwing off any ancient science, I think it is better to do a little bit of research into it and find out if there is any truth. Because I personally believe that anything that is written by humans in the past contained some meaning in it. You know, they are not BS to be thrown away. There is some truth to it. Just because science is there in this world for the last 150 years, science has invented so many things, it doesn't mean that man did not have a great life before science was invented. There were so many things that was invented in the past. For example, ancient texts that were written 1,000, 2,000 years back say that dates contain iron. Moringa, the leaf what we use today, we make capsules and tablets out of it and sell it, was used by ancient humans thousands of years back for various diseases. And we find out the same thing today. Turmeric is an antibacterial. It prevents cancer. That was said by ancient people thousands of years back. Neem is antibacterial. So we all use that today. So we can't just throw astrology to one side and say that, no, I'm not going to believe in it, it's not going to happen. The question that you need to ask yourself is, do you want to look into your horoscope? Do you want to look into your destiny, or you don't want to look into your destiny? That is something that is left to your choice. You may want to look, you may not want to look. Some people would like to look at their life. They go to an astrologer because they just want to know what's in store for them, good or bad. And some people cannot make decisions in life as to what they want in life. For example, somebody wants to start their own business, but there is nobody in the family who has done an own business in the past, and he wants to find out whether he'll be successful in it. So he goes to an astrologer to see what is the position of planets, and based on that whether he is successful or not. Based on what the astrologer says, he can decide to move forward or not to move forward. Astrology is an ancient science. You can call it pseudoscience, but I wouldn't call it pseudoscience, but there are people who call it. But the most important thing, what we require to predict our future, is a good astrologer. Just because an astrologer doesn't make accurate predictions about your future doesn't mean that the whole science is wrong, or the whole subject called astrology is a myth. We need not believe in it. That is the case with modern medicine as well. Just because a doctor is not good, you can't say that I don't believe in dentistry, I don't believe in cosmetology, I don't believe in cardiology. There are good cardiologists, there are bad cardiologists, there are good astrologers, there are bad astrologers. So when does one become good is when they learn the art from the basics and how they apply the knowledge to various horoscopes. That's what makes a good and a bad astrologer. One is he must be strong with the concepts. He must be willing to learn out of his own self-interest. He should not use it for commercial purposes too much. What I'm trying to say here is that there are people who say that everything in your life will be fine, go ahead. But deep within him, he must be knowing that something bad is going to happen to this person, and he doesn't want to say that. In my own personal experience, I've met some astrologers who have made some starkingly great remarks. I wouldn't call it great remark, but starkingly accurate remarks about my life, my character, my personality, what I am destined to do, what I am not destined to do in this life. And this person didn't even know me. He doesn't even know my name. Somebody showed my birth chart to him, and then he said that this is what this person is going to do. He's going to be lucky in this aspect, he's not going to be lucky in this aspect. And I've had several of my atheist friends who also went to astrologers, and they were puzzled by the way the astrologer made comments about their life. They even predicted what their younger brother or elder brother is doing. For example, my friend's younger brother was doing chemical engineering in a very, very far land, and he predicted that sitting like 10,000 kilometers away, not knowing the name of the person, just by giving the birth details, he was able to say what occupation he would get in and what he's studying right now and all those stuff. And I've also done some research. I've taken the birth chart, the birth details of few people whom I know. I have calculated their birth chart, and I could see some connection between what I found and what is happening in their life. For example, the good and bad period that they went through, people who are fortunate with something, when did that happen? In astrology we call it dashas, which is time. So astrology is basically, it deals with your karma. Everybody is born into this world with a set of karmas. This karma is basically the actions, the good and bad actions that you have done in your previous life. And that's why all our ancestors and parents say that do good things, think about good things, because this is going to be replicated in your next life. If you don't do good things, you're going to get results according to the same. If you don't do good things, you're going to get results according to the same. And look at this world, how big it is. There are billions of people here in this world. Everybody is different from the other person. One person born, if you take the case of twins, born from the same womb, their characteristics tend to be different to some extent. Their life tends to be different to some extent. Think about brothers and sisters, from the same biological mom. They go through different things in life. One lives long, one lives short. One becomes a millionaire. One ends up in stark poverty. One gets very bad diseases in their life. The other person seems to be healthy, though he does not have a well-regulated life. Somebody tends to be very poor at one point of time in their life, and suddenly they become very rich at one point of time. Somebody is short-tempered, whereas the other person is very calm. It's very difficult even for a mom to explain why their children are very different when it comes to temperaments or life activities, what is happening in their life. One person has got children, the other person doesn't have children. One person marries somebody from a distant land, and the other person marries somebody from the own country, from the same country. And you can always have a set of answers, like it just happened, it's permutation and combination, it's chance. But guys, personally, I don't believe that the whole world is a big chance. I think there is some big plan, grand plan behind it. The whole world cannot happen just by chance. There is day and night, there is movement of planets, the sun and moon come and go every day. You have winter, you have summer, you have autumn. If you look at the whole world, everything is regulated, everything is programmed, nothing happens on its own. Or I would ask in the other way, why are things happening in this world? Every year we have summer. Okay, you will say that the earth goes around the sun and all those stuff. Why does it go around the sun? Why does it not stop going around the sun? The speed of the earth, the axis, the planets that rotate across the solar system. So who is running all these things? That's my question. And you cannot say that it happens automatically or it's evolution. I do agree with evolution, with Darwin's theory. I support what he says, but neither can somebody say that the whole world operates on its own and things happen according to their own. The people who believe in God say that it happens according to God's will, and the people who don't believe say that I don't care what happens. I'm happy with whatever answers science is giving me. Science has given great answers to us. They are in the process of inventing so many things. They are giving answers to what puzzled us a few decades back. But still I'm perplexed at the way the whole solar system operates. You have different planets. The planets have for example, if you take Jupiter, I think it can accommodate around 1200 Earths inside it. It's a gaseous planet. If you look at some other planets, most of the planets apart from Earth, the life is not possible there. They say that on Mars people are going to live, but I don't know when that's going to become a reality. So if you look at Earth, we have all the conditions for life to sustain in this Earth. Oxygen, water, right temperature, we have everything. So it looks like somebody has created a world where life can survive. So that is one way that I look at it, though I do understand that there are various explanations given by science over a period of time. Maybe at one point of time on this earth people could not live, animals lived, dinosaurs perished, but I think oxygen was always there in this world, which is vital for our living. So coming back to the topic on astrology, the earth goes around the sun, and the different planets move around the orbit, and it creates a different life experience for everybody. Now, how does this happen, right? The most important question people ask is, how is human life connected with, or how is the life on earth connected with planets? These planets are millions of years away, kilometers away or miles away from this earth. I think the NASA spacecraft itself takes a long time to reach these planets. How does it interfere with human life? Well, I want to explain something which everybody already knows about. The moon is responsible for the tides. I think everybody will agree with me on that part because it's accepted by science. The moon creates high tides and low tides in the sea, and the moon, to an extent, regulates the water bodies in this world. Moon is the closest planet to this earth, and there is a lot of connection between moon and the various life activities that happen in this world. Few examples that I would like to give is the way the sea behaves on full moon days, during the waxing and waning period. Our own moods change. Yesterday somebody is highly angry for something, he gets irritated quickly. Today he is calm, and he himself doesn't understand how his mind and body works. So moon is responsible for the high tide and low tide. Moon is also responsible for things to do with the ocean. It can cause an increase in water bodies in the height of the sea and all those stuff. And animals behave in a very strange way during full moons and some other periods, and people who are affected with some kind of a mental disease, I would say, they behave in a very strange way, or maybe they become very aggressive on days when based on the position of the moon. This is something that we can see in real world, and there are examples for it. So how is the moon able to control the high tide and low tide? In particular, the moon is maybe, I think, millions of miles away from this earth, but its energies have an impact on living beings in this world. Its energy, its magnetic pull is having an effect on the oceans, on the life forms inside the sea. And the fishermen, especially people who live in India, they can predict how the sea will behave based on the position of the moon. So that's how they decide whether they need to venture into the sea or not, because the sea sometimes behaves in a very strange way, and it may not be conducive for fishing in a sea. So they look at the position of the moon and arrive at various conclusions whether they need to go for fishing or not, because in most of the fishermen in India still used some primitive methods for fishing. That is, they kind of go in very small boats. Still we don't have people who use motor boats and all those stuff. So animals behave in a very strange way based on the position of the moon. Sea behaves in a very strange way based on the position of moon. People who have mental disorder behave in a very strange way based on the position of the moon. Now let's look at sun. The energy that comes from sun is responsible for the growth of plants, the growth of human beings as well. We get vitamin D from sun. And imagine countries where there is no sun for 5 to 6 months. They get depressed. I'm not sure about that particular disorder, but I heard from I don't remember it right now, that people get depressed and people have suicidal tendencies when there is no you know, sun in their country. So moon emits some kind of an invisible energy, magnetic pull, vibration to this earth that controls so many things. Sun is responsible for the growth of plants. Imagine if sun is not there, we won't have food to eat. The vegetables, fruits, all living forms depend on sun. And the sun is a star, and that is very much important for solar energy. So there is a solar energy, and you can call moon's energy as lunar energy if you're going to call it. But some of the distant planets like Jupiter and Saturn, these planets, according to science, does not have any connection with this earth. They do not, their movements do not cause anything. We do not feel any immediate impact. So this is where astrology comes with a fantastic explanation about the nature of every planet, and when the planets move around the solar system, how the life process happens. So the Indian astrology talks about period when you get married, period whom you should marry, when you will have children, when you will have a job, what kind of job you need to do, and all those stuff. Now I'm not saying that you need to run your whole life based on what the astrologer says, but if you get to know the basics of astrology, and if you watch the movement of planets every year, the transits, what we call the Jupiter transit that happens during the October time frame, and the Saturn transit that happens once in 2.5 years, and some other transits that happen throughout the year, has definitely got some kind of an impact on human life. There are people who say that I never thought I'll get married, and suddenly, within a month things happened. I did not know how it happened. In India we don't still, people do arranged marriages. They keep searching for their spouse or husband, and or maybe some people fall into relationships quickly. If you look at the Western world, they'll be alone for so many years, and they might find somebody and they might get married. People who would have lost faith in having children would suddenly get children. People who are doing extremely well at their work would suddenly lose their job because of events that is not within their control. So good and bad things. And at one point of time, I've seen people saying that I did not know how it happened, and I want to move forward in life. So that's where astrology plays a very, very important role, right? Nothing happens without a chance. Why was somebody successful at one point of time at his work? Why he was not successful at some point of time in his work? Maybe the boss has changed, you are moved to a different project, or workload has increased, or people in your team have left. Everything affects you, right? So everything around you affects you. So that's the most important thing. Sometimes for things for which you are not directly responsible, you have to undergo the results for it. For somebody to leave your team and go, your boss might say that I can't give you a replacement, and you might have to do all the work. Your boss might change, a new boss might come, and things might not go well between you. You would have put a lot of efforts in your company. You'd be having great name, but the new boss is not impressed. So though we can say, these are the general things that happen in life, it is not caused by planets. So that's where astrology says that how your life is impacted, is based on the movement of planets. And if you want to comment whether the movement of planets affect your life or not, then I think you need to know the science behind it, how it works. So basically you need to know, the different planets, the different periods, and in India, in Hinduism, we give a lot of importance for time. We call it Kala, because your destiny, comes with time. If you look at the birth details of great musicians, kings, businessmen, you will see that they went through very harsh period in their time. They went through a fortunate period in their time. And when you combine that with the movement of planets that happened in their birth chart, you will see there is a lot of correlation. So without rhyme and reason, somebody cannot become a billionaire. His stars need to look like that. A very famous musician, who went through a very bad childhood, and later at one point of time he shot to fame. He earned so much of money, and somebody who was living a great life suddenly passed away. So science may say causes and conditions, Buddhism says causes and conditions, but who causes this causes and conditions? Everybody wants to live a happy life. Nobody wants to get sacked from work. Everybody wants a great boss. Everybody needs children. Everybody wants to become millionaire. Everybody wants to be happy. But if everybody is happy, or everybody is successful, or if everybody is facing failures, then we wouldn't have a world, right? Everything would be the same. If I want to become a captain of a particular airline, I can become. If I want to become the president of United States, I can become. If I want to become a celebrity, I can become. But does everybody become a celebrity? Does everybody become a king? Does everybody become a billionaire? There are so many books available in shop. You can become a CEO, you can become an entrepreneur, you can become a billionaire. But the individual causes and conditions that molds our life is very, very different from what the other person goes through, even among brothers and sisters. Now, people who watch this video might feel very low, because why is this person giving so much importance for destiny? You should not believe in those things. Absolutely, guys, I agree with you. There is hard work, there is perseverance, there is determination, thinking smart. You can do whatever you want in life to become successful. And no astrologer or astrology doesn't say you shouldn't put efforts. You should just sit in the corner of your house and expect things to happen. When things change in the sky, everything will automatically happen. No astrologer is saying that. Everybody should put efforts. Everybody should try to think smart. Everybody should put a lot of hard work. They need to be very strategic when it comes to their goals, planning, and all those stuff. But here is the most important thing. Before you start your journey to a particular destination, you would like to look at the maps. You would like to look at the distance. You would like to look at how the road is, how your journey is going to be, how many hairpin bends are there, what is the traffic, at that point of time, and how comfortable your journey is going to be. So life is a journey, and astrology says that this journey comes from your past life, the good and bad deeds that you have done. So based on that life, you're going to get this life. Somebody is born as a pauper. Somebody doesn't have eyes when he is born. We say that life is very cruel. Somebody is born with a golden spoon, silver spoon, he's a billionaire. We say that he is lucky. We say he is lucky, he is unfortunate. Well, it shouldn't have happened to me. I went through a very bad phase in life. I was extremely lucky. My friends were not lucky like me. So what causes luck? What causes destiny? Why are events different to different people? What are uncontrollable events in life? Everybody wants great things to happen, but great things don't happen to everybody. Nobody wants misery in life. Nobody wants to end up in failures, right? Even if you look at big corporate organizations, one acquisition is successful, and based on that, they do the second acquisition, which is a total disaster. So they followed the same process. The same set of people made decision. Due diligence was done, but it happened to be a failure. And people say that, well, that's life. We need to move on. I agree with you. You need to move on. That's life. But that's where astrology is going and finding out why it happened. What are the good and bad times for doing certain things in life? When would things happen for a person? What is the right time to do it? If you want mangoes, there is a particular time for you to put the mango seeds to the soil. If you want apple to be grown, there is a particular time for you to put the apple seeds. There is a different place, there is a different soil, there is a different weather, and there is a different system of agriculture required to even do agriculture, to get fruits from a tree. So this life, which is so complicated with so much of variables, unknown variables, what is constant and what is variable? I think the variables are always more. So I think you can work hard, you can be smart, you can take risks in your life, but at the same time, when there are setbacks, when things don't happen, there is no need for somebody to get upset, because it happens. And that's when astrology plays a great role, where you can compare the life events with the fortunate and unfortunate events in your life. Let's say somebody lost their dad at the age of 21. If you look at his birth chart, and if you look at the various dashas, the time period, in a particular time period, you find that he will lose his father. And that's what makes you believe in astrology, because how are events destined? If everything is destined, nobody is going to go for work from tomorrow, right? As I told you earlier, if you are destined to become a billionaire, you will become a billionaire. So everybody is working hard, everybody is doing their best, but everybody doesn't become great in their life. There can be only one Michael Jackson, there can be only one Abraham Lincoln, great people are less in number, and one person cannot be like him. When we are born, we don't know what is going to be our life. We plan things in our life. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. As I told you, we the human beings always wish the best for them, their children, but things don't go as per our plans. I'm not trying to be pessimistic here, but this is true. And one of the reasons why I made this video is because I see a lot of youngsters who are very ambitious in life these days. They want to achieve great things, and when they are not able to achieve things, they try to end their life. They desire something, they don't get it, they end up their life. Well, that's what people say. If it is destined to you, it will come to you. If it is not destined, you will not get it. So try for things. If it happens, it happens. If you lose it, just get over it. So do your actions, don't cling to the results, is a very famous Hindu saying said by Lord Krishna. So the results of the action is not in your hands, but you can do the stuff, you can do it. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. Yes, you can go and find out why it didn't happen, you can make changes, but don't make any horrible decisions in your life based on what is happening currently. Things might change. A lot of people who lived in poverty later became billionaires. Vice versa. A lot of people who were billionaires ended up in stark poverty. So situations change in life, people around us change, and that's when you need to learn the basics of astrology, because it's very interesting to know how. It's very interesting to learn the language of the sky. If you learn the language, if you know how to interpret the language, the skies speak to you. See you in my next video. I'll be doing another video on astrology, and subscribe to my channel here below, and see you guys. Wish you a very happy new year. Bye.